How do we overcome procrastination? Surprisingly, some of the most powerful answers come not from productivity gurus, but from addiction research. At the heart of this science is one crucial insight: the emotional crash after a dopamine high, the infamous dopamine trough, is directly tied to how steep and intense the initial peak was. But here's the twist: the steeper that trough, the more uncomfortable it feels, the faster we can bounce back from it. Let's break that down. Imagine you're in a totally unmotivated state. You feel stuck. You're procrastinating. Your instinct might be to tidy the house, answer some emails, or just wait it out. But let's be honest, these productive distractions rarely break the cycle. At best, they delay the real work until a looming deadline shocks you into motion. Or worse, the task remains undone. Now, here's the counterintuitive insight. Instead of escaping discomfort, you need to dive deeper into it, on purpose. That's right. If you deliberately do something that feels more challenging or uncomfortable than your current state, you can jolt your mind out of the dopamine slump faster. Let's pause for a very important clarification. When we say more painful or more uncomfortable, we are not talking about harm. Nothing dangerous, nothing damaging, not to your body or your mental health. We're talking about safe, short-term discomfort. Think of it as a healthy, controlled challenge that acts like a mental reset. So, what does this look like in action? Let's say you're sitting around, struggling to start writing a report. Cleaning the kitchen might seem like a tough task, but if you're already choosing it over your work, it clearly feels easier in that moment. Your brain isn't fooled. That's because dopamine systems respond not to how objectively hard something is, but to how hard it feels right now. To snap out of that slump, you need to do something that demands more effort than either your current state or your procrastination habit. This might mean jumping into a cold shower, not because it's related to your goal, but because it's uncomfortable. That shock to your system increases dopamine and helps steepen that trough, which, paradoxically, helps you climb out of it faster. Here's another example. Suppose you're struggling to exercise regularly. You know it's good for you. You've made the plan. But when the moment comes, you just don't feel motivated. Maybe you check your phone, or suddenly reorganizing your bookshelf feels urgent. Sound familiar? One popular solution is the just do 1 minute method. You commit to a minute of movement, then ride the momentum forward. This works for many people, and it's based on the same principle: facing friction head on. But sometimes, even 1 minute feels impossible. In those moments, a different approach might help. Doing something completely unrelated that feels even harder. Again, something uncomfortable but safe. Like that cold shower, or a burst of intense breathwork, or even holding a plank for 30 seconds. Why? Because you're forcing your system to feel something harder than the inertia you're in. That resets your limbic system, the part of your brain that negotiates emotional effort, and gives your forebrain a chance to re-engage. This dance between brain regions is called limbic friction. It shows up in two ways. Sometimes you're sluggish and need energy to act. Other times you're anxious and need calm to act. In both cases, the key is motion, mental or physical, that nudges you out of the emotional low. And yes, this might sound a bit uncomfortable, but that's the point. You're teaching your nervous system how to self-regulate by training it to find balance through challenge, not avoidance. So when you're stuck in procrastination, don't wait for motivation to magically return. Don't bet everything on the last-minute adrenaline of a looming deadline. Instead, ask yourself, what small, safe, and unpleasant action can I take right now? Something that pushes me just past this state of stillness. If thinking about cold water makes you cringe, perfect. That means it might be just the tool you need. Ultimately, it's not about punishing yourself into productivity. It's about shifting your state, on purpose so that you can get back to a place where meaningful effort feels possible again. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's often just a mismatch between what your brain wants and what your body's willing to do. So the next time you feel stuck, remember, the way out might just be through something colder, harder, or more uncomfortable, but only briefly. Because just on the other side of that discomfort is momentum.